Hello, my name is Lori Mouton, and this is Launch with Washtenaw Community College, a program that connects the community through learning. This year, the college is celebrating a very special anniversary, its 60th, and I am pleased to have Dr. Rose Belanca join us, the president of Washtenaw Community College. Dr. Belanca, why is lifelong learning so important?
We can never stop learning, especially today. You know, learning, first of all, keeps you young, and it helps you to healthy mind. Healthy mind is what we all need as we get older. But lifelong learning is extremely important because of technology, especially because the technology is infused in everything we do. I mean, when you go to your doctor, now you have an app where you get your medical chart is on your app. If you don't know how to use your app, you're at a disadvantage. Okay, you're banking. How do most people bank? They don't have that bank book or whatever. Now they have another app, so you can do your banking there. And what about other creative things? Maybe you have been working your whole life, or maybe you just need time to have some time for yourself and you want to paint and you want to find, or music or some other interest. Maybe you always wanted to learn a foreign language. Keeping our brains active is extremely important. And that's why we have a community college that focuses on that.
And it's interesting because it seems like the pace of technology is changing so rapidly that you can never stop learning, and the college is here for that.
It's incredible. It really is. And that's why we try our best to offer courses or short term, not something long, at our senior centers, where we focus in on things like AI, understanding it, or how to use your cell phone, or I just got a new Apple Watch. I have to go take a class on that. But that's why, we do that, to be there for them.
Well, and something that strikes me about our classes as well is that it keeps people connected and moving and learning all the time.
And relationships are so important.
Yes. We're going to take a closer look at some of those classes that we host in our community, and we host them everywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
For 60 years, Washtenaw Community College has been an integral part of this community. What we do matters because of who it touches. It shows up in the nurse who walks into a hospital room at 3 a.m., attentive and focused, caring for someone's parent. It shows up in the police officer who answers the call, trained not just in skill, but in judgment, responsibility, and service. It shows up in the teacher who stands in front of a classroom, shaping the next generation patiently every single day. And it shows up in the people who build our future, the skilled trades and manufacturing professionals who build and power our region, the technicians, coders, and cybersecurity professionals protecting the systems we rely on every day. They are our neighbors, our family, and our future. When we support them, we support the very heart of our community. Learn more at wccnet.edu/millage.
My name is Bobby Amrine, and I live in Ypsilanti Township. When I retired about almost 14 years ago now, I started line dancing. I love to dance. I love music. I love to dance, and well, I'm usually in the back of the room. I usually know the dances. I have other students watch me if they need to from the back of the room. Oh yeah, it takes me about 8 minutes to get here, because a lot of people do take advantage of that, and I'm so grateful that I can take them. And I'm going to do it until I can't. Yeah, because otherwise I'd probably be sitting home on my backside, and in the winter anyway. In the summer I still get outside. I have a dog. I walk my dog a lot, and I go to the gym 2 to 3 days a week, and then I do these classes, and I really enjoy it. And plus it's good to see the people, see the friends I've made in this class over the years.
Hi, my name is Sue Worth. I attend the Ypsilanti Community Center, where they have these wonderful programs for us seniors through Washtenaw Community College. I am 71 years old, I played a lot of sports growing up, so I've always lived an active lifestyle. And as we age, we want to continue that active lifestyle. I also got my degree at Washtenaw Community College back in probably the 90s. I got it in general studies with a focus on accounting and business. And where that degree took me is I worked in-home daycare for 20 plus years, and I also did the daycare books. So I was able to do that for a while, but then it took me in a different direction in life when I left the daycare and got my job at a special ed paraprofessional. I did not. I grew up in the Detroit area, but I played a lot of sports out in this area, so I lived out here for quite a few years. And it was close to where I was living. You know, it's cheaper tuition when you go to a small community college. And I like the smaller environment that Washtenaw Community College offers. And I want to continue to grow into still being able to be a healthy senior.
So these are just some of the classes that we offer at Washtenaw Community College. We also offer classes on how to better understand technology, and cyber scams in particular are on the rise. Can you talk a little more about that?
They sure are. And so that's why it's very important, we feel it's very important for us to make sure that our residents, those that are interested, learn about, have an awareness of what some cyber threats might be and how they might be able to protect themselves in those situations. And to understand the different warning signs of a cyber threat, which are happening actually all around us. You know, you can just read about them in the paper all the time. And how they should protect their personal information, which is critical.
Well, it's interesting because I think I've told you this story before, but I have a 91-year-old mother-in-law, and she gets calls, several times a month from someone saying, and she knows it's a scam, from someone saying, oh, this is your grandson and I need you to send me money. And she's very in tune to that. So it sounds like those are the kinds of things that we're teaching in our classes to help people, like you said, be aware and know what to do in those situations.
You know, I almost had a situation. I'm glad you brought that up. I was actually at a hair salon and I was sitting there and I received a text from the U.S. Post Office saying that they had a piece of mail that they wanted, that I had to put my address in because they wanted to send it to me. And another client there said, oh my God, before you do that, make sure you see where the phone number is from. And sure enough, you know what? It was not the post office. So just understanding those things. And I think it's really important for us to pause.
Thank you, Dr. Belanca. This is great information. And next, we're going to go into the community to see what some of these classes are like. We'll be right back.
I think these classes are vital to keep educated about the devices and the things that are going on. It kind of reminds me of when the telephone came into existence for the first time, or TV. At first it was, I don't know why we need this. And then you start realizing the need for it as technology changes. Computers are a really good way of connecting with your family worldwide. Doesn't matter where you're at, we can still get in touch with each other. Where back in the day, it took months before they would get a message from the mail, and now you get it in 3 seconds. We just had a baby in the family last week, and everybody in the family knew and was all excited, whether they were in New York, California, or Michigan. So it's interesting how that is, it's a way of life now for us, and we need to embrace it. You want to be safe. You want to eliminate those fears by educating yourself to know how to take care of it. It's not as scary as we think it is. It's like crossing the street. You look both ways before you cross the street to make sure it's safe to cross. Learning a few procedures that you use that benefit your life and actually draw you closer to your family, and having a community that can support you. Even with the things that are going on here at the Senior Center, for instance, you look online, it's all there you don't have to keep asking the same questions over and over again. It's right there on the website. It's like you want your information to get across, and you also want to show your loved ones that you're thinking of them. I mean, I love teaching the smartphones. I have a class called Smartphones and Tablets, or Exploring Your Smartphones and Tablets. And what I love about it is that I'm teaching them how to use that cell phone that their family gave them to keep in touch. But now they can open up the pictures and they can send pictures back and forth and feel like you're right there versus they can't come this year because somebody's sick or work is getting in the way. You can connect with them each and every day. And to me, that warms my heart to be able to do that.
That was a great reminder of some of the community education that is happening around cyber scams in our community. And it's so important, and I'm so glad that the college is able to provide this. People feel supported when they have information when they need it. Who would have thought that we'd have to continue to learn about cyber safety? That's right. Right now, we're putting a few cyber safety tips on the screen. And if you want to learn more, you can also go to wccnet.edu/cybersafe. These tips can make a real difference. Again,
pause before clicking. Unexpected emails, texts, or pop-ups asking you to click a link or provide information are often scams. When in doubt, delete it. Verify the sender. Scammers use AI to mimic voices, logos, and writing styles. Always confirm through a trusted phone number, not the one in the message. Use strong, unique passwords. Avoid reusing the same password. A mix of letters, numbers, and symbols helps protect your accounts. Keep your device updated. Updates include important security fixes that protect you from new threats. Never share your personal information unless you initiate the contact. Banks, Medicare, and the IRS will never call or email asking for sensitive information. Use AI as a helper, not a decision maker. It's great for learning, drafting messages, or exploring ideas. But important decisions, financial, medical, and legal, should always involve a trusted human professional.
For 60 years, Washtenaw Community College has been an integral part of this community. What we do matters because of who it touches. It shows up in the nurse who walks into a hospital room at 3 a.m., attentive and focused, caring for someone's parent. It shows up in the police officer who answers the call, trained not just in skill, but in judgment, responsibility, and service. It shows up in the teacher who stands in front of a classroom, shaping the next generation patiently every single day. And it shows up in the people who build our future, the skilled trades and manufacturing professionals who build and power our region, the technicians, coders, and cybersecurity professionals protecting the systems we rely on every day. They are our neighbors, our family, and our future. When we support them, we support the very heart of our community. Learn more at wccnet.edu/millage.
thank you, Dr. Blanca, for joining us today. For 60 years, Washtenaw Community College has helped people learn what they need when they need it at every age and stage of life. And we cannot wait to see what happens for the next 60 years. That impact is far-reaching. Thank you for watching Launch with WCC.